Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a good week. So today we are going to be doing a mountain landscape with aurora borealis in the background, and I'm going to be using my Galeria acrylic pad and my acrylic paint. So first off we have crimson. Next we have ultramarine. Finally we have white. Now I'll also be using black for this. You can really use any paint just as long as you include these four colours. Here are the three main brushes I will be using, so a flat shader and two more pointed brushes. Later I will use a larger brush. And here is a makeup sponge you can use for the blending. Today we will be using masking tape. You can use any kind of masking tape for this. And now you can just begin to section off a square in your sketchbook, so using 4 different strips of masking tape. I like to do it the length of the page, but it depends on what you would like to do. It helps me to see in a grid-like way so that I know where the centre of the square will be. Just something to be aware of is to make sure that you don't overlap and that you put each strip of tape on top of another. Now you can begin to put out your paint. I'm using different areas of my palette for this. Now you can begin to mix up your purples, so I like to use a bigger ratio of red to blue and just start spreading it in strips across your canvas or your paper, and try and make an oval in the centre. Now using your big brush you can start mixing together a dark pink, so use some of your white and crimson and try and make it as dark as possible but not completely red. You can now also begin to apply this in a strip underneath the purple you have just created and make sure that your paint is still wet. Then, using the pink you created, add more white and make it an even lighter pink. Just remember you need to apply this evenly in layers. Also, as a side note, I don't know about y'all, but when you put purple and pink into your paint jar, it can look so pretty. And when you pour it down the sink, I know that's a really random artist kind of thing to say, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Now all you have to do for the centre of the aurora is add white. And here comes my favourite part, using a sponge to blend all those colours nicely together. I tend to like working from the outside in, but you can do it either way, it really doesn't matter. Now take your black paint and begin to mix it with some white. You want a kind of deep grey, not a very light grey, just quite deep, almost black. Here you can begin to paint in your mountains. You can do whatever mountain range you want. Today I am going to do 3 peaks. So first of all, I'm starting with a lower hill, and then the highest one in the middle, and a sort of jagged peak at the end. And I'm filling in all of the cracks with grey paint. For most normal mountains, I like to draw a crack up its surface going up to the peak. This is the ridge of the mountain, and I tend to do it in black, but I will shade it in further later on. Also, just try and think of which way the light is coming in your picture, how you want to portray that, and add shadow. Now just begin adding white to the ridges and adding it to the slopes so you can give a sense of depth, and just keep doing that until you're happy with how the mountain looks. Something I like trying to do is drawing almost an arrow shape on the back of the ridge and the front, and blending in the white between those. Now you can start adding shadow to the lower part of the tallest peak and to the back of the lowest peak that there is. I like to blend these by painting from the bottom and the top, so I use a mixture of grey and white to use small brush strokes to move down the mountain, and add more white to the black to make it less apparent. will begin painting the stars. So first of all, I'd like you to get 4 pieces of paper and to arrange them around the mountain. You don't want the rest of the painting having flecks of the paint on it because it will look like it is snowing, not like we want to create the effect of stars. And it also protects your workspace. So now we will start making the fresh paint for the stars. As you can see, I've changed my water, and that's because we need clear water for this. You're going to start by mixing the water with a little bit of grey and a lot of white. You want this to be liquefied, but not too much. You want it to still have the feeling of paint to it, and you'll be able to feel that in your brush. Now take your flat brush with the white paint you've created and flick up the ends of it so that lots of stars will start appearing. You may need to do this several times, and you can experiment with how much paint you're using and how hard you're flicking it. And here's the best part: you can now take away the paper and see if you can add any more stars down below. You have to do this quite carefully so you don't fleck the mountains. Now finally you can begin to remove the masking tape. So what I like to do is use a hairdryer. This helps the glue come off more easily, and I put it on the highest setting for this. Now finally you can finish off your painting. So when you remove the masking tape, try and peel it almost parallel to the paper. You don't want to pull it up because it will rip. You have to do it very slowly and carefully, and just make sure that it will come off soundly. If you think it won't, then just go over it again with the hairdryer. That was great, you guys. I've had so much fun doing this. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a really good week and you enjoy making more paintings like this.